I like using technology to keep track of my finances because of the endless possibilities offered by Excel and its formulas. However, I am aware that the level of effort that I put in is not the norm, and for most people, a much simpler method might be all that's required or the best solution for their own situation. So today, I thought I would try out one of those methods in particular and talk about it on the channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience using this paperback budget planner right here. I set out to update this planner on a weekly basis over the course of 6 months, and to be completely honest, the time sink really wasn't that hard to keep up with. I basically spent about 20 minutes each week going through my transaction history and my payslips to get everything I needed written down. Per cycle, there were only 2 pages which needed to be filled out, and I actually ripped 2 of those pages out, this being the first and this being the second, which I know you can't really see, it wouldn't be in focus, but in nature, it's pretty simple. Just as a quick snapshot, it asks for you to put things in like the date, your savings goals, any sources of income, and then expenses, things like your bills, utilities, transport, groceries, entertainment, eating out, shopping, health, miscellaneous expenses, travel, and then allows you to total out the bottom. On the second sheet, it's again very simple in nature. It asks for your total income, your total combined income. You might be working multiple jobs and have multiple income streams, your planned expenses for that period, any savings goals for that period, and then has a good checkbox area which allows you to plan for any upcoming purchases or upcoming expenses. Very basic, very simple to update. So as an overview, it's focused on tracking your income and your outgoing costs. Now moving away from this planner just for one moment, I personally use my own finance tracking spreadsheet, which I have built up over years and it's become quite complex. It does a lot of what this budget planner is attempting to do for anyone who wants to be using it, but also my spreadsheet does much more. I've actually made a tutorial explaining how to use the spreadsheet and made a link available for anyone to download a template of it if they wish, or if they were interested in using it themselves. So feel free to use that resource if you think it would be helpful to you. And if you were shopping around looking for something, this might be that solution. I want to mention this right now because I really love how complex my spreadsheet is and how much input is required in it, because it really allows me to get a holistic view of everything going on with my finances. For some, this might be as simple as it needs to be, and they don't need something like a really complex spreadsheet with lots of formulas and lots of calculations going on in the background. We'll talk a bit more about the functionality of the planner in a moment. I just want to mention that this basically is a really dumbed down version of what most people that are on top of their finances are probably already doing. And the reason why I've just mentioned my own personal finance tracking spreadsheet is because I thought about this. I saw it on the shelf. It was $5 at a local store that sells items like this. And I was like, how helpful is this going to be? I'm pretty skeptical that a $5 journal, which has some nice templated boxes, which will allow me to put 2 categories of my whole financial situation into it on a weekly basis, require a lot of manual update to just get that data onto the page. And then I was sitting there going, how useful is this really going to be? I kind of want to try this because I would like to know myself, and then I would like to know if it's something that I would recommend other people use. And I was kind of right in my skepticism. For the most part, the data that I was putting into this spreadsheet wasn't overly useful. If I wanted to do something with it, I would then need to go back and enter all of that data into a spreadsheet in order to actually be able to manipulate it, put it into graphs and categories and see how weeks on weeks compare. So overall, for me personally, the insight wasn't great and it wasn't overly helpful because I was already doing that in a different format. However, to make this project a little bit more interesting, I decided to kind of add something into it that I don't do in my personal finance tracking spreadsheet, which I wanted to understand where every dollar from my transaction history over that period is going. I don't track every single dollar that comes out of my account because I don't need to. There are small purchases here and there which kind of get dismissed in the wash. I don't really keep track of it. So what I really wanted to do was gain some insights into if I was spending on things unnecessarily or things that I should be tracking that I wasn't keeping track of already. And I just wanted to understand if this would give me the opportunity to find those little hidden purchases, those little hidden dollars that might escape my bank account that I might be more interested in doing something with that information. And I'm really glad that I did this because what I found out was pretty much what I expected to find out. I don't overspend in any of the categories, maybe except for one being takeout, dining out, eating out. I don't know how you want to call it. You can call it whatever you want. Basically eating food that isn't home cooked meals. I did spend a little bit more than I would say I'm comfortable with on a couple of occasions, but I think that looking back, they were special occasions and there was a reason why I was doing that. It wasn't consistent throughout the whole 6 months, so I'm okay with spending that little bit of extra money. I'm not gonna beat myself up or be financially ruined from actually enjoying some of the money that I make. The other thing that I did like, and the other thing that I found, was that I set reasonable savings goals based on my income and my outgoing expenses, and I was able to meet that consistently over the past 6 months. So another thing that something that when I've got this big financial spreadsheet tracking a lot of different things, it's something that I kind of shy away from. I don't look at my particular savings goals. It's just kind of on autopilot. Whereas in this here, there's an actual section that says, what is your savings goal for this week? And did you meet it? And it was something that was kind of rewarding, seeing how I could go, yeah, I did meet it for that week. And what I set was a reasonable number. I wasn't shooting for the stars and I wasn't cutting myself short. So it was kind of a little bit of fun in that sense, where I did get something out of it, but how useful that is, I think it's more of a, hey, this is a good pat on the back, you did a good job, versus this is actually really useful and I can do stuff and manipulate this data to help me improve my financial situation. So would I recommend this product for anyone to use? The answer in short is hell no. Unless you're someone who, let's say, you're young, you're working a casual job and you don't really have a lot of outgoing expenses or things going on in your life which are kind of finance related. I can maybe see this being somewhat useful for people who aren't overly complicated with their finances at this point in their life, and this could be a good introduction into simple budgeting, basically like finance management of your own expenditure and your own income. It could give you a little bit of an overview of what's happening in your life at that period of time, but I could see people outgrowing it very quickly because, like I say, the information going into this isn't overly useful. You'll start looking, if you really are passionate or get interested in getting your finances together, I can see you kind of upgrading from this little notebook very, very quickly. Like I said, you can't really do much with the information going into here without pulling it out, putting it into a spreadsheet and doing some formulas to kind of get an idea of what's going on with your finances. So it kind of defeats the purpose of not just using a spreadsheet to begin with. So I would say just go straight to the spreadsheet if you're someone who is up for the challenge of starting with something a little bit more complex. The other thing probably worth mentioning is that over a 6-month period, I didn't really go back and ponder on previous weeks. I wasn't looking at that information until I really wanted to do something with it, like make a video today and actually have something to talk about from what I was putting within. So keep that in mind as well, that you're not really gonna go back and reflect on previous weeks either. To be honest, I'm really glad that I stuck this out for 6 months and that I did it for a period of time that allowed me to really get some confidence and solidify my opinion of using a properly put together spreadsheet. It's something that I've never used a paperback budget planner before. I've always seen them on the shelves and gone, I wonder if that would be good for me. I wonder if that would be handy. I wonder if that would be useful. And now I know for someone like me, it's not really that useful. For someone else, it might be, but to be completely honest, there are better solutions out there. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you maybe learned something, gained some insight. It's not an overly complicated topic. It's more of just a discussion point. So if you made it this far into the video, good on you, because I would say that this would be a pretty dry one to watch. So yeah, if you did make it this far, you might have been interested in it. So feel free to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Hope you have a good week. I hope I get uncongested because I'm sure you can hear it today. And I will leave you there. Have a good day, have a good week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.